Most good players feel greenside bunker play is the easiest shot in the game. And well, they may be right, because there's no ball club contact, and therefore the shot is more forgiving. It's important that you understand that the ball exits on a cushion of sand. The manufacturers have done us a great service in creating a flange at the back of the club that keeps us from digging too deep. I'd like to demonstrate for you by using this board with white paint that actually the flange strikes the sand first, not the leading edge. And that's the problem in most of our bunker play. We tend to get the leading edge down into the sand and get much too much sand to exit the ball out of the bunker. So let's make a swing and see what turns up on the bottom of our club. And there's the white paint that fully illustrates that actually the flange strikes the sand first, not the leading edge. As in every shot in golf, first consideration must be given to the lie, because it will determine how we use the flange on our golf club. The ball has stopped on top of the sand, so we wish to use our flange in the most positive way possible. So we will open the club face and put the club behind the ball looking as such. Some of you are reluctant to open your club face that much because you feel as though you will shank your golf ball. Actually, a shank does not happen because the club face is open. The shank happens because the club is coming down away further from your body and you hit the ball up on the hosel of the golf club. So we use a drill to put the ball close to the board, then make your regular swing, and you will certainly miss the board, and therefore no shank happens. That will encourage you to learn to use the bounce on the golf club or the flange to control the depth of cut. However, I would like to caution you, first open or lay the club face back, and then take the correct grip. Please do not be careless and place the club in your normal position and twist your grip to accommodate the lie. That will lead to some serious problems in the bunker. Actually, a shank does not happen because the club face is open. The shank happens because the club is coming down away further from your body and you hit the ball up on the hosel of the golf club. So we use a drill to put the ball close to the board, then make your regular swing, and you will certainly miss the board, and therefore no shank happens. Our ball has stopped on top of the sand, so my procedure will be to bury my feet and give me a feeling for the texture and depth of the sand, and to lower my swing arc so it's easy to get underneath the golf ball. I'll open the club face to accommodate the lie of the ball and then take my regular golf swing. That divot, or that cut of sand, is quite shallow because the flange did its job. It made the club ride through very shallow, but the length of the cut is quite long, about 12 inches or so. Now, from there, let's look at the second lie, which will be the semi-buried lie, and the ball about halfway buried. Now, to get underneath the bottom of the ball, my club face position will now be relatively square, so that the leading edge is going to dig down and get underneath the bottom of the ball. And again, just make my regular golf swing. The depth of cut is considerably deeper. The flange was no longer doing the job of making the club ride shallow into the sand. Our third and final lie is the buried lie, which we don't like to find. I must now close the face of the club and turn the toe in to make sure that the depth of cut is deeper. Also, I will again place my feet in the sand to feel the texture and to lower the swing arc, but I'll put a little more weight on my left side and move the ball back in my stance to encourage a more descending or sharper angle of attack to get the club down underneath the bottom of the ball. Gosh, that came out pretty good. This cut is much deeper than the other two and not nearly as long in cut of sand. So many players feel as though they must do tricky shots out of the bunker. That's not really necessary. And I think you're much better off if you'll try to make your regular golf swing and working at removing the sand from underneath your golf ball and letting a cushion of sand throw it out and to your target. This is a drill that I would encourage you to use to help you develop the ability to control the face of the club with your arms and not your hands. It's the overlap drill with the right hand right over the top of the left, and then you will feel the flange going into the sand. Put your feet in the sand as you normally would, but a long, slow arm swing, feeling and hearing the bounce of the club as it strikes the sand. Now that you understand how to use the flange on your golf club related to the lie of the ball, we need to control the distance you hit your golf shot. To demonstrate the shot with the flagstick relatively close, I'd like to use this concrete block and get you to visualize the angle of your downswing coming at a very steep angle. Then we get the ball going a relatively short distance. In fact, our swing will feel like a letter V. We will set up with the weight on our left side. We will lean into our golf ball and make the club go quite abruptly upward and downward into the sand, so the power thrust will be down against the sand and the ball will not go too far. And the ball will not go very far with that type of stroke because our swing looks and feels like a letter V. To negotiate the distance of some 30 feet further than the previous shot, I now need to make a swing adjustment so my swing feels more like a letter U. So, again, the concrete block, but I get further back and visualize my club coming in at a more shallow angle. And we see the ball coming out away from its lie in a lower trajectory. Now I must sense and feel my angle more like a letter U. The club will come along the sand at a very shallow angle, and that will put the ball further into the target area. You read and hear that to be a good bunker player, you must hit an exact number of inches behind your golf ball. While that may be true for the tour players who are trying to play exact type golf shots, this little demonstration will make you feel much more comfortable in the bunker. Learning to use the flange properly will exit all three of these balls with different trajectories, but about the same distance. You see, they're all three out and all playable